So I have, returned back to doing TNA Impact reviews after a couple of weeks. This is my TNA Impact review of the 28th February 2025 edition. For me, the show was good. I think they should do more of these shows in Full Sail, like areas like this, because their production was better, the way they presented was better. It is still TNA, but it still felt better than those earlier arenas that they had. One thing was that it was a fully NXT coded arena, and like, can you blame them? Like, Full Sail was the home of NXT for a lot of years, and I think the TNA management smartly realized that. So they gave a lot to the NXT guys that were on the show. Of course, those guys lost, but they got a lot in their matches. Like, you started the show with JDC, and they are the most TNA coded stable I have ever seen in my life. Like, if this was a stable with these guys, with that theme, with that name in any other company, they would have been laughed out of the building. Like, come on, a stable with Fandango, Eddie Edwards in 2025, moves with his baby voice, and Brian Myers of all people, and I am supposed to take them seriously with fucking, plastic rings around their fingers. Like, the only like good thing that you can say about this stable is Eddie Edwards' wife, because she's annoying in a way that you really want to see her get her ass kicked, and the JDC get their ass kicked. Like, they were out there, like they were gloating essentially, and then the clones interrupted them, and they were like, "For us, wrestling is not only a profession; it is a way of life, and we will support you." So, and they accepted that support, and they did the JDC fist bump. Oh, we have not seen that from any stable before. You know, you had a bunch of matches on the show which I felt went long, which they shouldn't have, like the Tessa Blanchard match. First of all, like, we all know, like, Tessa has had done some work on her face, but when those cheekbones popping out, that usually happens to the women like in their old age who have had work done on their face. I don't think she's that old, but those things are popping out. I think her squash match went for too long. It should have ended a little bit earlier. Masha Slamovich was watching that. She got attacked by Cora backstage because they're having a match at Sacrifice. I really liked the Ash and Heather by Elegance versus Spitfire match also. It was really good. Like, this happened for the TNA Women's Tag Team titles because Heather was not legal at Genesis. Eventually Spitfire won. I like this gimmick because Spitfire's gimmick is kind of, unique, because be it any women in wrestling, like, they are sexualized in some way, and they also sexualize themselves, but they are kind of, they're the opposite of that. They do have colored hair, but they are like, moda bitches. They are like, we stink. Like, their name is literally Spitfire. Like, they come out and wrestle. They had a good match. Dana Brooke didn't watch anything. Oh, Ashton. They were dressed good, elegance, and they lost. So they're the concierges of, you know, Spitfire for like 24 hours, and they had a backstage segment also where they like gave them their stinky socks and everything. You also had Mike Santana versus Oro Mansa from NXT, and Oro really showed out in this match. I really liked it, and Mike Santana won, though it went for too long, but Mike Santana won in a good match, and I really liked the video vignette after the match, which Mustafa Ali had, where it was like, alcohol companies are rejoiced because Mike Santana has resurfaced again. And then it was like, this message has been approved by Mustafa Ali. I approve this message. Then he went backstage after the match and he was like, where is Ali? He started confronting his minions, and next week he challenges him to come face to face with him. You also had, Leon Slater in the back trying to confront JDC. Then Hardy Boys come up with him. They argue and all. You had Steve Macklin versus Casey Navarro. Like, Casey Navarro and, Top Dollars dynamic I'm talking about on screen is really weird. It's really weird for me. I get weirded out. This guy has talent, Casey Navarro. Like Steve Macklin, I see him as, a guy who can wrestle in the ring, very stiff, but doesn't have that much of a personality. So I don't know where you go with him, like in the future. Like, you know, Ethan, what is his name? Like Eric Young comes out with the Northern Armory watching the match. This is where the interferences was more like this match should have ended a little bit earlier, but it went on for a while after Eric Young came out. Match was good. Steve Macklin won with a great DDT, and that was that. You also had, Frankie Kazarian versus Ace Austin. Wesley and his crew were there also. Frankie won in quick fashion. They attacked, Wesley and his crew attacked him after the match, but the Rascals showed her, and they're having a six-man tag at Sacrifice. You also had, the digital media things, the epitome of of character work. Mance Warner with Steve what is it, Delander, the unofficial Impact Digital Media Championship, the championship that everyone cares about, comes out versus Sami Callihan. The match doesn't happen because Sami Callihan takes a chair, and you still had that lip mark, or maybe it was blood, that Steph had on Warner because they were attacking each other. Then Santino comes out and he announces that they'll have a match at Sacrifice. Tessa also confronted some. I'm not going to say her full name because I'm going to butcher that. Lee backstage, and they're probably gonna have a match in the future because Lee said you talk too much and everything. You're not on my level. Like Tessa, you try too much. Just be your, the self that you really are. Just, beat the racist stuff. Like just cut that stuff out. You're an asshole. Just be that asshole. Don't try to be a wrestling asshole. Like I said with Logan Paul, like just be who you truly are, an asshole. Just cut out the problematic stuff. Just be who you are, an asshole. Don't try to be a wrestling asshole. Just be an asshole. You also had. I don't know. I think I may have missed some stuff, but then you had the main event also with Oba and the Hardy Boys versus the System, and the right guys won. The System won. Then after the match, they kept attacking Matt Hardy. The one sequence that I really liked was when Moose kicked Oba in the face and he staggered, but he was like, yeah! And that like got the crowd fired up and got me fired up as well. Then he gave a spine buster, and like people were on the side of NXT guys. Like Oba's gonna kill you. Like Oba was so over. And then after the match, Elijah and Henry show up. They also had a backstage segment where Henry was like, I had thoughts in my head that maybe you're gonna put the chair on my back also. Then they came out and they saved them because the Colons also came out, and then Santino announced that three of their choosing and everything, they will have a tag match at Sacrifice. So we're gonna have that at Sacrifice too, and I'm glad that Elijah is getting a paycheck. Like he's on the active TNA Impact roster page, and I'm happy for him. You know, the thing is that since the NXT partnership has started, like I'm saying that TNA has benefited a lot. NXT has also benefited a lot. Like it's very weird that Sacrifice is kind of getting used to build up to Roadblock, which is very weird because the show for but NXT is the bigger show. But I'm saying that both of them are benefiting this time rather than only like NXT benefited, I think, more last year. It was not like TNA didn't benefit, but NXT benefited a lot more last year. Like they literally got their Impact Women's Champion out there, and she lost to the NXT Women's Champion at a PLE too. So I overall, a good show. I'll probably watch it live next week. So if you like this type of content, like my video, share and subscribe. If you don't, share it with those who do. My social media links, which are my Twitter and Instagram links, are in the description, so go follow me on that. My UPI ID link, which is shabboy@okicici, is in the description also. So donate any amount of money which you can, so that it helps me make YouTube a permanent career option for me. So that was it for me for today. So thank you. Goodbye. Alvida.